Thanks for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Ronke Kolawole. The federal government has commenced the establishment and revival of primary health care centers in all the political zones in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari said this at the flag-off of the primary health care center in Kuchigoro, Abuja. The president confirmed that this is part of the efforts of his administration to ensure that about 10,000 primary health care centers are established in the country.
Our administration, in recognition of this promise to revitalize our primary health care center in each of the political wards in the country. So far, we have commenced the revitalization of one primary health care in each senatorial zone in the country. Our vision is to revitalize 10,000 primary health care facilities in Nigeria using a phased approach. The first phase of this approach is what we are making of today.
Immunization is only for the rich. Antenatal care is for the rich. Skill birth attendance is for the rich. But under your leadership, we are committed to developing programs that will favor the poor.
And talking politics now, the All Progressives Congress APC-led federal government is poised to use the 2017 appropriation bill to take Nigeria out of the current economic recession. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Bolaji Abdullahi, who stated this in Abuja, appealed to Nigerians to support all the strategic plans of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to make Nigeria better. The APC spokesman said the government will continue to improve on its social security programs to make life more meaningful to the people.
The 2017 budget, Mr. President called it the budget of recovery. And we have looked at it and we have optimism that 2017 is going to be a much better year. We want to appeal to Nigerians that what we experienced in 2016 was necessarily a fallout of the adjustment that needed to happen. So we believe that 2017 will be a better year, and we crave the indulgence of Nigerians to continue to support the APC government at the national level, because at this moment we are still the party that has the possibility to deliver the greater good to Nigerians.
Intervention of veteran labor leaders in Nigeria has been seen as the antidote to the lingering crisis rocking the Nigerian labor movement. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria also believe that pluralization of the labor movement will not augur well for the country. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
The guests recall with nostalgia the vibrant nature of the hitherto Nigerian labor movement, which has been actively and objectively involved in the struggle to protect the rights of Nigerian workers and other Nigerians. Labor movement, they say, must be dynamic, describing as unfortunate recent development within the Nigerian Labor Union, which gave rise to the emergence of a new labor center.
And even the law that we're talking about plurality, simply says that if you want to create a new labor center, you create a new labor center from a new industrial unions. You just don't wake up and create a new labor center from an existing one.
Irrespective of whatever permutation we may make, is a clear setback for the labor movement in the country if we again divide into small groups.
The guests have the opinion that for effective governance in democratic society, the role of labor movement is key and can only be achieved through vibrant internal democracy within labor unions.
And if you have a level standing for the people, it is then that the people will be rest assured that policies and programs of government will be geared towards their interest.
In the quest for a vibrant, efficient and effective labor union activities, the guest pointed out the leadership succession plan that existed since inception of NLC in 1978 should be upheld to move the union forward. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Senator Ahmed Lawan, representing Yobe North, has replaced Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume as Senate leader. Ahmed Lawan's emergence followed his appointment as leader of All Progressives Congress APC Senate Caucus. The APC caucus, in a letter transmitted to the Senate following a meeting on Monday. Detail will come to you in our subsequent bulletin. Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has said that Nigeria's democracy is facing existential threat, especially at the state level, owing to incessant impeachment of speakers of states' houses of assembly. Addressing legislators on reception from the Christmas-New Year break, the Speaker drew the attention of his colleagues to the recent spate of impeachment of state houses of assembly speakers, which is said portends great danger to Nigeria's democracy, while recognizing the constitutional right of the legislature to conduct its internal affairs, including the right to hire and fire its leadership. Dugara said it presents a different scenario where such leadership hiring and firing is rife with accusations and insinuations of external influence and also devoid of extant procedure. Is that leaders everywhere can only function efficiently where there is certainty that commendation is the reward for good leadership and sanctions the consequence of inept leadership. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate removal and replacement of the Executive Secretary and the constitution of the Board of the Financial Reporting Council. He has appointed Mr. Adedoto Suleiman as chairman. This is contained in a statement by presidential spokesman Garba Shehu. Mr. Suleiman, a chartered accountant, was a former managing partner, director of Arthur Anderson. The president also approved the appointment of Mr. Daniel Asapohai as the executive secretary of the council. Mr. Asapohai is a partner and a financial reporting specialist at the PricewaterhouseCoopers, Nigeria. President Buhari has also instructed the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment to invite the 19 ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government and private sector organizations specified in the FRC Act to nominate members of the council's board. In Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, the federal government's cash transfer program of 5,000 naira monthly stipend to vulnerable Nigerians could not hold as scheduled due to the inability of the financial institution saddled with the responsibility of disbursing the funds to reach the target population. Yagum Subuka has the situation report.
The cash transfer program aimed at improving the livelihood of the less privileged and the vulnerable in the society, where the federal government signed a memorandum of understanding with the World Bank. In Borno State, the program is expected to kickstart with 1,800 internally displaced persons as beneficiaries of the 5,000 naira monthly stipend in its first phase. However, at the NYC orientation camp, where IDPs from Dambuwa, Bama and Kandiga are camped, which is supposed to be the first site of beneficiaries from Borno, the flag off of the disbursement could not hold.
The beneficiaries have been sorted out. They are waiting. Government officials are here, and everybody is in place. But unfortunately, the bank is still not here. What they did was they came here and brought the funds, but they said they did not bring the list of the beneficiaries. How can you tell us that? Now the manager said she's going back to the bank to get the list, and up to now she's not here.
I think the delay is from the bank. You can see ours is to provide them with the right beneficiaries. They have screened them, they have verified them, so I see no reason why the delay will come off. But definitely, we cannot conclude by now that they don't have the capacity to take care of this issue.
It is a nationwide program where 9 states, including Borno, are expected to benefit from the gesture, with mostly women being the target beneficiaries. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
And report just reaching us says President Muhammadu Buhari has joined the Nollywood family and media industry in congratulating ace entertainer, presenter and comedian Jimmy Johnson, also known as Okoro, who turns 77 on January 11, 2017. President Buhari in a statement extols the exceptional talent, skills and versatility of the veteran actor whose sterling performance in The Village Headmaster, The Citizens and other soap operas earned him reputation and recognition at both national and international levels. As one of the pioneers of TV drama in Nigeria and a respected thespian, the president believes the septuagenarian's contribution to the movie industry, which ranks second in the world, remains indelible, especially as the actor now plays major roles in national and global development. The president prays that the Almighty God will grant Johnson longer life, good health, and the strength to keep serving. Governor Ambode signs 2017 appropriation bill into law. For details of this and other reports, we now join Vera in Lagos. Vera, it's over to you.
And a very warm welcome to Lagos. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has signed the 812.9 billion naira year 2017 appropriation law with a promise that the budget will be faithfully implemented. His administration, he says, is determined to make Lagos work for all, irrespective of age, gender, tribe, or status. Nosa Usula completes the story.
The appropriation bill presented to the Lagos State House of Assembly by Governor Ambode in November 29, 2016 was unanimously passed into law by members of the House on the 3rd of January 2017. Ambode said the 2017 budget was the article of faith of his administration with Lagos residents, as it was in line with delivering on the promises made to the people.
We are encouraged by the budget performance of last year, which stood at 78%. Our total capital expenditure in 2017 will be 507.8 billion naira, while recurrent expenditure is estimated at 305.18 billion naira.
Ambode also added that the 2017 budget would enable his administration to focus on present challenges of food security, transportation and traffic management, physical and social infrastructural development, as well as job creation.
Our government is committed to prudent financial management and equitable allocation of resources for the general good, and will ensure proper fiscal discipline in the implementation of this appropriation law.
Chairman Lagos State House of Assembly Committee on Economic Planning and Budget, Rotimi Olowo, assured residents that the budget would be faithfully implemented. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
One of the mandates of security and law enforcement agencies is to maintain law and order, particularly in a city like Lagos. Over the years, the government security apparatus for policing the state has become a major source of concern to all. In this report, Ken Igbeliwe, during the week, examined the role and responsibility of law enforcement agencies in the provision of efficient and effective security in the state.
Nigeria's commercial hub is virtually a home to migrants from across the nation and some neighboring countries sharing common international borders with the states. While some of these migrants come in search of the golden fleece, others, especially those with no education or skills, also look for means of survival. This trend of migrants' influx into the city brought about criminal activities. To maintain law and order, therefore, law enforcement agencies were established to complement the Nigerian police. Apart from maintaining law and order and service functions, the law enforcement agencies are also involved in providing first response to emergencies and other threats to public safety.
The government and the federal government started to bring up all kinds of agencies to be able to curb maybe indiscipline. These agencies became numerous.
Unfortunately, some of these law enforcement agencies have become thorns in the flesh of residents in the state. This is because the law enforcement agencies now subject residents to untold hardship.
We have experience, daily experiences, okay, but For some time, I try to play a very good role. I respect myself. You can't avoid it because the society itself is naughty, and the behavior, as far as Nigeria is concerned, you know what it is.
How can the law enforcement agents carry out their responsibilities without necessarily infringing on the rights of residents?
There were so many laws. You have to do a lot of awareness then before you now implement.
While maintaining law and order, it is expected that the law enforcement agencies will be non-authoritarian, accountable, professionally efficient, and work within the ambit of the law. In Lagos, Ken Ibeluge, NTA News.
As part of efforts by the leadership of the Federal Road Safety Corps to reward excellence and promote diligence, more than 500 outstanding officers of the Corps were elevated across the country. Musa Tolet reports that newly promoted officers in the Southwest Zone were decorated in Lagos.
The Federal Road Safety Corps says the officers are being rewarded for their contributions in the reduction of traffic road crashes and various sensitization programs on safety on the highways. This is to encourage them to achieve greater feats in the service to humanity. 52 of the officers in the Southwest Zone of the FRSC were decorated by the zonal commander in Lagos.
It's a challenge to us, and for us to also make sure that we work hard than ever before to take FRSC to the promised land.
There is much to hard work. When you are hardworking, you get promoted with God on your side.
The only way they can appreciate it is to work harder and ensure that they do their job more diligently.
Those that have been promoted today, it is our expectation that they are going to give their best. They have to justify the confidence reposed in them. For those that have not been promoted, I think this is a source of inspiration.
The zonal commander sheds more light on the availability of speed limiting device and impending enforcement.
We have over 38 accredited vendors to install speed limiting device before we commence enforcement, which hopefully is going to commence by February this year.
In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide News on the NTA Network Service. We have more reports with Ronke in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Vera. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources has awarded contract for the construction of 65 solar-powered boreholes nationwide. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu said the job was awarded at 1 billion naira as part of the 2016 capital projects. Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
According to a 2015 survey by the Ministry of Water Resources, access to potable water nationwide is put at 69%, which shows that over 56 million Nigerians still lack access to potable water in the country. This, according to experts, was due to uncoordinated efforts by governments at all levels and development partners to improve access to potable water supply to Nigerians because of the implementation of different policies and programs. However, programs such as the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, PWASH, and the award of contract to these 55 borehole drillers are part of government's pledge and determination to turn the tide.
Government comes and drills boreholes and leaves, and the people think that it belongs to the government. It's not their business. So even for a maintenance of 1,000 naira, a large community, nobody will bother to volunteer. What we're saying now is every scheme that is going to be done will have community participation, and they are going to take ownership. And they should know that at the end of the day, we are not coming back.
The minister urged the contractors handling the project to follow the contract specifications and assured of government's resolve to boost synergy among states and local governments to increase potable water supply in Nigeria.
And I believe that the contractors that they've shortlisted, they have the capacity to do a proper job.
The 65 boreholes will be constructed in 28 states with more concentration on the disaster-challenged areas in the northeast. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NT News.
Reducing maternal mortality rate in Kano State, supporting dividends, improve girl-child education, as well as women and girls' access to reproductive health services, form talks between the Executive Director of United Nations Population Funds, Professor Babatunde Oshotime, and Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olaguju reports.
Report has it that Nigeria accounts for about 10% of world maternal mortality rate. The situation, the United Nations Population Fund said it is unacceptable, going by its mandate of delivering a world where every pregnancy is wanted and every childbirth is safe. This necessitated the meeting between the Executive Director of UNFPA and the Kano State government to strategize on girl-child education, thereby eradicating early marriage that usually leads to maternal mortality.
A girl who goes to school and stays in school until she's around 18 is a better mother than a girl who has a child at 10 years old. And she will survive. Baby will survive. And I think that is something all of us must take on as a responsibility.
It depends. When we see mothers are dying, when we see children are dying. And this statistics is real, it's frightening. And for any right-thinking person, it's an issue that has to be tackled.
While in Kano State, Professor Oshotime also decorated the Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammad Sanusi II, as the Grand Patron of Women and Child Health and Education. Rashidat Mustafa Olaguju, NTA News.
Makudi is our next port of call, and Charles is standing by. Hello, Charles.
Thank you and welcome to Makudi. The Benue State Commissioner of Police has confirmed the death of one person following the recent crisis in Okpoku local government area of Benue State. The Commissioner of Police, Bashir Makama, however, said that peace has been restored in the community. Here are the details. The Commissioner of Police, Bashir Makama, said, contrary to a report on the social media that 5 persons were allegedly killed, only 1 person was shot dead in the area.
The sign of gunshots was actually seen on him, on the deceased person, and then the culprits are identified. They have been identified, and then we are going after them.
He also refuted the rumor that alleged immigrants were arrested in Benue State. They appealed to members of the public to be alert and promptly report suspected movement of persons to security agencies. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News. Those in positions of authority have been urged not to allow the labor of the heroes past to be in vain. This was the message at the Interdenominational Church service to mark the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, organized by the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in conjunction with the Benue State government. Bem Hanya reports.
At the church service, which took place at NKST Church Iotie, members of the 3 arms of government, as well as serving and retired military and paramilitary personnel, were in attendance. The first reading was taken by the representative of the Benue State Governor, his deputy, Chief Benson Abonu, while the state chairman of the Nigerian Legion of Ex-Servicemen, Colonel Cletus Anka, retired, took the second reading.
We couldn't have been here today if these fallen heroes had not over the years sacrificed their lives for this country to be at peace.
Intercessory prayers were said for the fallen heroes, members of the armed forces, members of the Legion and paramilitary forces, and their families. In his message, Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter, Reverend Augustine Akpenliver, enjoined Christians to support the members of the Legion as well as families of fallen heroes, while calling on all to work for the peace and unity of Nigeria.
God has given us everything it takes for us to build from the earth to the sky.
The central message that the congregation departed with was to remember that the armed forces have always been ready to pay the supreme sacrifice in order to maintain peace in Nigeria. Bem anya.
Well, that report runs off our package from Makudi. Ronke, it's back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Remember that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're watching nationwide on the network service of the NTA. There'll be more reports after this time out. Stay with us.
This is a happy moment for me and for all Nigerians.
Amina Ali Nkeke, the first Chibok schoolgirl to be rescued in the renewed onslaught against the Boko Haram insurgency.
Amina's rescue gives us new hope.
Federal government has formally received the 21 abducted Chibok girls.
These dear daughters of ours have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them. Government will sustain the effort until all the remaining girls return safely.
Consolidating democracy in Nigeria through stability within the state assemblies and their purposefulness. In the light of recent development, this is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, informative, educative, and analytical. Join us.
I banned my wife not to give me fast food. Now she has turned to Mama Put. Hey! My own is even better. My children are like one. Tea and bread in the morning. Tea and bread in the afternoon. Under hot sun. Tea and bread when they want to go to bed.
I told Shelly, can she cook? She said yes, she can cook. Good and fine. I bet her. She gave me the cost. I gave her 2,000 naira. After several hours, she gave her, she cooked palm wine for me to eat. So I never know her.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop.
Go to Mama Put and buy food for him. Put it in the freezer. Automatically it becomes homemade food.
Caroline. Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
Over and out. Welcome to the new speed of life.
The climax of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is here. Join President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the Minister of Defense, service chiefs, heads of paramilitary organizations, the diplomatic corps, and the Nigerian veterans as Nigeria appreciates the resilience of the armed forces, remembers the contributions of her veterans to internal and world security, as well as honor those who paid the supreme price to give us peace. Welcome to the National Cenotaph and wreath-laying ceremony as Nigeria marks the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. The sacrifice of our serving heroes, living veterans, and those gone beyond, and the families they left behind cannot be forgotten. There will be free medical outreach on January 15th for both veterans and VIPs to check their health status in all 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Venue, the Cenotaph, National Arcade, 3 Arms Zone, Abuja. Time, 8:30 a.m. Date, 15th January 2017. Appreciating the resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Don't miss it. Announcer, Brigadier General Rabe Abubakar for National Planning Committee.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you.
My
help you grow. Pay us a visit today at the NTA headquarters permanent site, Area 11 Garki, Abuja, or our Lagos office at number 15 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. For more information, visit our website on www.ntaproperties.com.ng, or you can email us on ntapeak2000@yahoo.com. Call us on 080-2316-3474 or 080-6939-5185 or 070-3189-0555. NTA Properties Investment Company Limited, the much needed help at your doorstep.
Welcome back from that commercial break. The Center for Social Justice, one of the election monitors in Edo governorship elections, has established that the major contending political parties in the elections spent more than 200 million naira limit set for campaigns in the Electoral Act. To this end, the Center is calling for further review of the Electoral Act to cope with the present realities. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports.
Section 91 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended sets the limit of campaign expenses by governorship candidate to be 200 million naira. In its report of Edo and Ondo governorship election finance and the use of state administrative resources, the Center for Social Justice reveals that in Edo, while the APC candidate incurred more than 1 billion naira, that of PDP was more than 614 million naira expended. The Center therefore advised for upward review of the ceiling to 1 billion naira. It also expressed concern over the political tension that rears its ugly head anytime there is election, calling on all stakeholders to come together and find the way out.
Anytime elections are to be held in any part of the state, you see a lot of heated politics and the rest. So that would even make the electoral body itself not have a good grip of how to manage it. It is very natural that if there is a threatened security in any part of the state, you can't deploy your men, materials, and just go ahead to conduct elections.
The Center also advised INEC to hold further consultations with political parties to check the use of money during elections. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
And still talking politics, the chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, BOT, Senator Walid Jibril, has advised members to stay away from the proposed mega party and have faith in the PDP's ability to resolve its internal crisis. The BOT chairman was speaking at a grassroots meeting at his ward in Nasarawa State. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu again reports.
Coming from the ongoing move to form another political party by some aggrieved PDP members and other political parties, Senator Walid Jibril advised those with such idea to have a rethink, expressing optimism that the crisis in the party will soon be resolved.
It is not the PDP that is in trouble. It's the characters within the PDP that are in trouble. So why are you changing the PDP? Change the characters. Deal with the characters.
Meanwhile, the planned meeting between Sharif faction of the PDP and staff of the party could not hold as the invitees did not show up.
It is not about the Honorable McCarthy or Sharif. So we are trying to say it's the party that is paramount. That is what the staff are saying.
The PDP Sharif faction deputy national chairman, however, said the meeting will be rescheduled. He added that the group remains open to resolving the crisis and towards reopening the secretariat, which has been under lock and key.
That the issue before the Court of Appeal is exactly the question you are asking. And this issue will be addressed. And then we will accept it like that.
Both the Port Harcourt and Abuja Courts of Appeal have reserved judgment on the PDP crisis. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Chair Goni is standing by in Enugu for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Chair Goni. It is over to you.
Thank you, Ronke, and welcome to Enugu. The Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha, has advised African youths to make use of the opportunity provided by the new Partnership for African Development, NEPAD. Governor Okorocha was speaking when he received in audience the National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of NEPAD Nigeria, Princess Gloria Akobundo, in Oboko, Imo State. Chuma Wankwere has the report.
Described the NEPAD boss as a great achiever, called on Nigerian youths in particular to utilize the opportunity of her being in office to better their lot.
Send her to a job and leave her, she can handle herself. Give her the list of millions of people, whether men or women, she can handle the situation. That's what makes the New Partnership for Africa was almost going viral. But when she emerged as the chief executive of NEPAD, I was 100% sure it will receive a new lease of life.
The National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of New Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD Nigeria, Princess Gloria Akobundu, assured Governor Okorocha that NEPAD will be reactivated.
We had challenges of NEPAD not being vibrant and lively before now. But so far we've designed a program of 4 hours of rebranding, realigning, restructuring, and repositioning NEPAD Nigeria.
The high point of the visit was the presentation of a life-size portrait of Governor Okorocha by the NEPAD boss. Some traditional rulers from Okigwe zone were present at the visit, including a former member of House of Representatives representing Okigwe zone, Matthew Omegara, was also at the visit. In Oware, Chuma Wankwere, NTA.
Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwanyi has commended the Nigerian Armed Forces for its courage and dedication in containing the security challenges facing the country. The governor gave the commendation during the opening of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and Emblems Appeal Week in Enugu. Ijoma Ugweke was there.
Governor Ugwanyi, while praising the federal government for its efforts in creating an enabling environment for the forces against insecurity, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the welfare of the people, especially the vulnerable. He urged Nigerians to remind themselves of the plight of the men of the forces who laid down their lives for the protection of others, and urged them to assist the ex-servicemen and families.
We're not only according this great effort the honor and credit that they truly deserve, but we're also reassuring those still in service that the country will never forget their sacrifices nor forsake them in their own hour of need.
The Anglican Archbishop of Enugu Province, while extolling the efforts of the men of the armed forces, noted that members of the Nigerian Legion in Enugu State are in safe hands.
We don't want war anymore. To keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done.
Chairman, Nigerian Legion Enugu State Council, Mr. George Amalo, expressed satisfaction with the care provided by the state government. Individuals and organizations expressed loyalty and solidarity to the Nigerian Legion in appreciation of the sacrifices made by the ex-servicemen. The state government launched the emblem with the sum of 5 million naira in Enugu. Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Still on the Armed Forces Remembrance Week, a special church service has been held in honor of the fallen heroes and those who suffer as a result of wars and conflicts. The service was to mark the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day held at the Holy Ghost Cathedral and had in attendance the Governor of Enugu State, Chief Ifeanyi Ugwanyi. Again, Ijoma Ugweke tells us more.
Activities kicked off with a special church service to pray for soldiers who are at the battlefield and those who led their lives in the First and Second World Wars. The first and second lessons taken by the chairman, Nigerian Legion, Enugu State Council, Mr. George Amalo, and the garrison commander, 82 Division, Nigerian Army, centered on the effects of war and the need to pray for peace in order to achieve a healthy nation. In a homily, the Bishop of Enugu Catholic Diocese, Most Reverend Callistus Onaga, admonished leaders not to allow the quest for power lead them into destruction of lives. He maintained that man's inhumanity to man leads to war, which he described as evil.
War came about because of the failures of the human race to understand the meaning of love and peace.
A special Thanksgiving led by Governor Ifeanyi Ugwanyi also featured at the Mass, which had in attendance men and officers of the Nigerian Army, Air Force, Civil Defense, and other sister security agencies. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Well, that does it from here, Ronke. Over now to you for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Chair Gonu. We now bring you the full report of the inauguration of Kuchigoro Healthcare Center in Abuja. The federal government says it is irrevocably committed towards reversing the poor health indices in the country by ensuring that greater number of Nigerians have access to quality basic healthcare services, no matter their location. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at the flag-off of Model Primary Healthcare Center for Universal Health Coverage at Kuchigoro, Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The inauguration of the Kuchigoro Model Primary Healthcare Center kickstarts the implementation of the federal government's vision of revitalizing 10,000 primary healthcare facilities across Nigeria, where quality services will be obtained at little or no cost by the beneficiaries. The primary healthcare revitalization program, President Muhammadu Buhari said, is not only in line with the change agenda, but also the fulfillment of the government's promise to provide succor to all segments of the society, especially the poor.
I am aware that less than 5% of the total population is covered by any kind of health insurance or risk protection mechanism. Our vision is to reverse this unsatisfactory situation and better care for poor and needy.
To this end, the President promised to, among others, put the health of Nigerians as a top priority, ensure the implementation of the provisions of the National Health Act 2014, and focus more on the health needs of the vulnerable population in the rural areas, especially women, children under the age of 5, and the elderly.
I am hopeful that our women will no more be dying needlessly during childbirth. Our children will no more be dying needlessly as a result of vaccine-preventable diseases or common ailments. Access to health care will not be limited because of lack of money to pay.
Already, he said, $1.5 million has been given to each of the states and the FCT to ensure quality health care to women and children through the initiative of saving 1 million lives. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewole, said with the robust programs of action, trust and confidence of Nigerians have now been restored in the health system, and commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his commitment to the health and well-being of Nigerians.
Your Excellency, your agenda is about delivering on your promises, is about maintaining the health of this country. We now have a standard, first-class primary health care facility that any country will be proud of globally.
There were messages of support from the World Health Organization, the National Assembly, the FCT administration, and the Kuchigoro community.
I think when we talk about change, I want to say that this is change in the right direction, and we support it wholeheartedly.
We should be able to also replicate this in all the other 223 private healthcare centers across the FCT.
At the event, President Muhammadu Buhari also inaugurated the National Steering Committee of the National Health Act and presented to the public guidelines of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
For the degradation of Boko Haram insurgents, sustaining the operation and total victory for the Nigerian Armed Forces, a Remembrance Day church service has been held in Maiduguri. Naomi Abuaku was among the congregation at our Queen of Nigeria Catholic Church, Main Malari Cantonment, and now reports.
It's a week-long annual event taking place across the country to pray and celebrate the fallen heroes who sacrificed their lives for peace and unity of the nation. Theater Commander, Operation Lafia Duli, Major General Laki Irabo, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, commended officers and men of the command for keeping to the deeds and oath of allegiance taken to serve the armed forces and the nation.
The success that everyone now claims that we have achieved, it is only in God that our success is still not.
Prayers were offered for the repose of the souls of departed soldiers, retired members of the armed forces, and more success for the Theater Command of Operation Lafia Dole in its quest to end terrorism in the Northeast. Speaking to newsmen at the end of the church service, Major General Lucky Erabo reiterated the zeal and commitment of Operation Lafia Dole to ensure that the insurgents never regroup again.
We have won the war. We are in the process of winning the peace. And you know that winning the peace is a multi-sectoral engagement, and that is why even you, the members of the press, as well as other stakeholders, the civil society, we are all part and parcel of the process of winning the peace.
He urged the troops not to lose focus, but remain determined as the operation against insurgency is coming to an end, now that the stronghold of Boko Haram at Sambisa Forest has been recaptured. In Maiduguri, Naomi Abu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Air Force has attributed successes recorded in degrading insurgency in the Northeast to the support of the federal government and gallantry of its personnel towards protecting the nation's territorial integrity. Olajide Bello reports that this was at the Air Operations briefing by Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar in Maiduguri.
The 2016 Air Operations Briefing was an avenue to critically analyze the performances of the Nigerian Air Force platforms, operations, challenges, way forward, as well as projections for the year 2017.
The employment of air power in these campaigns continued to degrade the capabilities and capacities and also curtail the activities of the terrorists and insurgents, thereby providing favorable advantage to the surface forces in surmounting the activities of these non-state actors.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said the Nigerian Air Force will continue to use its available platforms effectively in defending the country's territorial integrity, saluting the gallantry of the Nigerian Air Force personnel in the fight against insurgency.
No country in the world has what it requires at any time. What is important is for you to understand what you have, to understand what you require, to understand the difference between what you require and what you have, and make the best use of what is available.
There was a bonfire night where Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and the Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, took time out to wine and dine with personnel of the Nigerian Air Force to appreciate their contributions in degrading insurgency in the Northeast. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has described the death of former governor of Niger State, Abdulkadir Kure, as a great loss to the nation. In a condolence message issued by his special assistant on media, the Senate President condoled with the government and people of Niger State, pointing out that the developmental stride of the late political icon and his humble lifestyle will keep his memory alive. Dr. Saraki commiserated with his family, especially his wife, Zainab, who served the country as a senator. Niger State government has slated burial of former Governor Abdulkadir Abdullahi Kure for Wednesday in Minna. A statement by Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Jonathan Vassa, indicates that the funeral prayer will hold by 12 noon at Eid Praying Ground. The burial date was reached at a meeting between key officials of the state government headed by Governor Abubakar Sani Bello and members of the family. Meanwhile, the Esulapai Umar Bago Tafida has approved the 3-day prayer session for the repose of the soul of the former governor for Minna shortly after burial. And talking sports now, Jabi Lake Abuja inspected ahead of the maiden President Muhammadu Buhari Open Water Swimming Championship as Cristiano Ronaldo wins inaugural FIFA Footballer of the Year award. Kene Magbudike is our guide on Sports Update.
The Implementation and Technical Committee for the maiden President Muhammadu Buhari National Youth Open Water Swimming Championship Tuesday in Abuja inspected the Jabi Lake to ascertain its readiness to host the forthcoming event. Leader of the inspection team and president of Nigeria Aquatic Federation, Babatunde Fatai Williams, who expressed satisfaction with the facility, promised a healthy and hitch-free competition for the 300 swimmers billed for the 5-day event scheduled for February 15 to 20. Team Chika Chukwumerije Sports Foundation has departed for Accra, Ghana for this year's Korea Cup Taekwondo Championships. 4 of the team's athletes, namely Peter Itiko, Chinonso Obonna, Darius Danlami, and Elizabeth Anyanacho, are scheduled to compete in the -87, 68, -63, and -73 categories in the championship, which is slated for the 13th and 14th of this month.
I've given a target of 4 of them to make the national team. I've given a target of 2 of them from here to win gold medals at the All-African Games. And at least 1 of them has to qualify for Tokyo 2020.
The World Cup will be expanded to host 48 teams beginning from the 2026 tournament. FIFA, which voted unanimously in favor of the change at a meeting in Zurich Tuesday, submits that an initial stage of 16 groups of 3 teams will precede a knockout stage for the remaining 32 when the change is made. Real Madrid and Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo says trophy-laden 2016 remains the best season of his football career. The 31-year-old who beat Barcelona's Lionel Messi and Atletico Madrid's Antoine Griezmann to clinch the inaugural Best FIFA Footballer Award in Zurich Monday night is, however, looking forward to achieving more for club and country in the coming years. With Sports Update, Kenen Imabodike, NTA News.
Sports runs off nationwide on NTA Network service. But before we go